Yeah. Looks like we're live. Hi, Yetunde. We are live.
Okay, good afternoon, and my name is Yetunde Adeshile of the Next Chosen Generation CIC, and I'm here this afternoon with my dearest friend Rani Moorcroft from Z Generation CIC. And you might wonder why we two friends are here on a Saturday afternoon. Well, we're here to bring to you good news because next week we are putting on, or rather, shall I say, Rani, Z Generation, is putting on, hosting a week-long apprenticeship week, and it's virtual. So in the comfort of your own home, you can experience apprenticeship week. But I'm not going to tell you all about it because I can't take credit for the hard work that has been put into bringing this week to you live. So this recording this afternoon is to explain to you what will be happening next week, when it will be happening, what you need to do, how you need to do it, what you should be looking forward to. So basically, every single day we've got something for you, with the exception of Wednesday, because yes, we have to take a break in all the hard work that we do. So without spending too much time, I'm going to obviously let Rani is MBE, take over and let us know more about herself, what Z Generation is all about, though we're working together. Tell us more about Z Generation and why Apprenticeship Week.
Oh, thank you very much, Yetunde. Please don't be modest, because I just about managed to know one end of the phone from the other. Without your technical backing and your young people who are out there doing what I'm asking, we wouldn't be sitting here today. We've worked together on some fantastic projects, and there's more to come. Z Generation is the culmination of about 40, maybe even 45 years of my work in education and skills. I worked in the departments in the civil service for 32 years of those. And then my MB, thank you very much for mentioning it, is for education and skills for the country. That's because I have twin passions. Besides my family, who I adore, of course, and my husband, I love people. I feel so strongly that we make what we can out of our world. We come into this world with nothing, we leave with nothing. But actually, what we leave is memories, and we leave footprints for others to follow. So whenever I start any of my speeches, I always say there are no pockets in a shroud. Whatever you have in the way of monetary things, intangible things, it means nothing unless you've made a change in people's attitudes until you've contributed to a better world. Then you're a pauper, no matter if you're a billionaire. So very quickly, Z Generation, older people like me, mostly from the Commonwealth, many from colour, a background of colour. We have worked hard. We've come here. Maybe our parents came here. We are British. I always say that because it always makes me laugh when people say, where do you come from? I said, well, actually, Basildon. Because don't ask me where I come from. It's where I am now that counts, and our generations after us. What we have here is a country that we're proud of. There's a lot of things that could be done better, but I tell you what, we should be so proud of the way that we lead the world, not just in the vaccinations, which are amazing, but in thousands and thousands and thousands of scientific projects, in technical projects. So Apprenticeship Week for me is very exciting. Normally I put on a show, I put on events for 200, 300 young people, and we have a wonderful time. We have guest speakers, we have great comradeship. With the last 2 years, it's all been gone. And this year I was absolutely determined, Yetunde, that it looks as if our education services not provided for the kids through no fault of anybody's other than this horrible virus. And so we're going to do something that probably stretches barriers right across the board. The theme for Apprenticeship Week which is to highlight and showcase the possibilities of jobs, of careers, of training using the apprenticeship system. And this year's week is entitled, let me just have a look and see, it's Build the Future. But I'm actually subtitling ours. Ours is called Building a Green Global Britain. Because this week, which starts off on Monday, which is the 8th, as you said, we'll be going from the 8th to the 12th, with a break on the 10th. That's right, the 10th. We're not looking at to build it. We are building it. We are going to show and bring forward people from the most amazing backgrounds. And the themes, I would just say, are quite clear to me. We have challenges. Obviously, everybody is worried about the COVID, and that has just eaten up 2 years of our lives. But climate change, going up to 1.5 degrees, if we don't get that number down, we are all dead. Climate change, it's about green futures, biodiversity. It's about building communities after this. And there's the elephant in the room, as always. Do we have a level playing field? Are our young people, every single one of them, on the same playing field when they go out for a football match, for a tennis match? And I would still say, unfortunately, it's like that. And that is because we still have systematic barriers if we happen to have a different color skin. I'm not going down that road of going, Britain's racist, I don't like it. And what do we, I'm just about saying it's an uncomfortable, very uncomfortable conversation we have to have. But Black Lives Matters and George Floyd's murder opened up a lot of people's eyes and attitudes. And so this conference is all about those three themes: jobs, economic recovery, racism, diversity. Because you know what? If we still say we are judging people by color so they don't get a chance to actually produce anything or do anything, who's the loser? Isn't it? Is this country? So the themes, let's go for the themes.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rani, so much for that. It's a very good introduction that you have given us there, and that it actually has got me all excited. I was excited before, but it looks like I'm a little bit more excited now. So you were saying earlier on that the title for this year's Apprenticeship Week is Build a Green Future for a Global Britain. And Britain is very global. It's a diverse nation, and it's probably one of the most diverse that we have in the world. And we enjoy that. We are privileged by that. Just going on, can you tell me what will be happening on Monday the 8th of, I think the first session is on Monday the 8th of February, starting at 5 p.m. till 6:30 p.m. So what is going to be happening between 5 and 6:30?
Right. Well, hold on to your hats, because this is one of the, well, they're all exciting, but we will have, the timings are, we're going to have a QC, a barrister who's a Queen's Counsel, and his name is Gul Nawaz Hussain. We call him Naz. Gul is one of the most exciting people because he will be coming from the Old Bailey, probably with his wig and his cloak and everything, to show kids they can get in there. And his clients of the highest, they're football stars, they're multimillionaires, they're people of huge amounts of money. And he goes into court and he fights for them. So Gul that's one hat really he wears. The second hat is, and this is why I wanted to kick this whole week off, is Gul sits on the Sheffield Race Equality Commission. And that is looking at, Sheffield was very brave. Sheffield set up this commission and they opened it up to the public. There was none of this hiding in a corner just in case they say something and we don't like it. It was open to the public. It is open to the public. They look at different areas, education, employment, and they try to come up with solutions. So all of these sessions are live. I only stumbled on it. And when I saw that Naz was there, I thought he's got to come and talk about both sides of his world. The sessions will be on education, one of them as well. And at the end of a year, they will have a report, and it isn't going to be a race equality report that sits dusty on a top shelf so people can get that little tick. I've had it. This is going to be a work in progress that other people like you and I, Yetunde, living in Basildon, yeah, we haven't got a commission, but hey, we've got a long way to go. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. So be rest assured that Monday is all about law, policing, the NHS, and all our speakers are from this industry. So you don't want to miss it. 5 o'clock till 6:30 p.m. on Monday, the 8th of February. Make sure you join us right here on this YouTube page to kick off the week of Apprenticeship Week it's in Basildon, but because we're live, we're global. So yeah, make sure you join the global challenge or the global educational week on apprenticeships.
Yetunde, can I just stop, because I hadn't finished the rest of them on Monday.
Sorry.
Wow. Okay. The most senior policeman in the whole of Essex. Yeah, he's not going to like it if I forget him. BJ Harrington. BJ Harrington is something else because he came from humble beginnings, just like a lot of people. And I am very excited. We've got a lot of surprises during the week. Mostly it's finding somebody who wants to follow the footprints of the people that are appearing. So we've got I'm not going to say her name or anything. She's already enrolled. She's 17. She wants to be a police officer. Now, BJ didn't go to a university. He didn't get a degree. He isn't sitting in the place in the years. He was only, he left school with 2 A levels. He was brought up in North London. He lived through the Tottenham riots. He went, first of all, when he left school, I think it was, he went into banking and he became a volunteer police officer, a PCOS. And then after that, he joined the service at the very lowest grade, a PC, and he worked himself up now to be the highest. The Metropolitan Service has Cressida Dick as their chief, and all of the other areas have chief constables. This man is going to talk because he comes from the people. He has seen and done things. And I don't want all of them to come forward and just show us a load of slides and say, you can be a good police officer, because this is a man who had to do one of the highest, most influential cases to show what a good country we are. And that was the trafficking of those poor 39 Vietnamese who died. And the way that he handled that, or rather his staff handled that, was an exemplar on being kind and being fair. So there he is. We've also got our diversity officer for Essex. Vernal is coming to talk about what's happening. He has advised different types of organizations. He started the very first AIDS center when we had HIV as a virus. But he does mention this here. No, it's difficult. It's difficult. Just to run through them very quickly.
Have we got somebody from the NHS?
We have.
Coming on Monday.
A junior doctor. Well, she isn't a junior doctor. She keeps telling me she's in training. Only 23 years old. Came to Basildon. Yeah. I asked her about it, and she said, my mum and dad dropped me off at the gate, and the only thing I've seen of Basildon is Asda and the sports centre. Otherwise, I'm on those wards. Imagine.
Amazing.
She's lovely. So we've got, as I said, we've got a sterling group of people there on that first day.
Okay. On the second day, actually, this is probably a day that is closer to home for me. Construction. I'm not from a construction background. In fact, if you look at my degree, it's got nothing to do with construction. But for one reason or the other, I ended up in the construction world, in transportation. So I am actually one for promoting construction, because without construction, all the infrastructure that we enjoy here in the UK will not be something that we can lightly enjoy. So on Tuesday the 9th, is all about construction and a net zero future. On Tuesday, however, we are starting at 1:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. So look at the slight change in time and just make sure that you are aware that it's not in the evening every single day. On Tuesday, we are live on YouTube from 1:30 till 3 p.m. So again, I'll let Rani tell you all about the speakers. Not too much information, Rani, if we can, because yeah, so that we keep the timing a bit shorter.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Right. So Tuesday, we're very, very, very honored because we have somebody from the government, very high in the government. His name is Fergus Harrington, and he's the Deputy Director of the Department for Business, Energy, Industrial Strategy, but he also is in charge of construction. So to get somebody of that ilk to come and talk about jobs in construction is fantastic. He is in charge of something called the Playbook, and it is, when you see it, it's going to blow your socks off. It's how we are going to build greener, but how we're going to let small people into it, because at the moment, because construction seems to be the only place where we have to build 1 million houses and a lot of money is going into it. Unfortunately, a lot of the big boys, big girls are in there, you know, and when it filters down, people on the bottom of the don't get very much. So there you are. Fergus is going to tell us about it. We're now going to have next Audley English, who is a Windrush child, UK's first West Indian architect. Flat pack houses. Flat pack houses, no energy. So in other words, you don't get a horrible bill for your heating at the end of the month. These are things that can be built by people to be trained in colleges. And it's an exciting future because we're setting up to build houses for the people, by the people. And so that neatly takes me in. Audley has got a long history. I won't go and spoil it. People have got to pick it and see it. But it leads me on to our next guest, who's Nick Cox. And Nick is in charge of the construction and engineering sector of South Essex College, which is the nearest college to where we are. Nick will talk all about that, and he's bringing in one of his colleagues to talk about the new T level. It's a new type of training, not to replace the GCSE. Very new, off the presses, and that's what people can do. And finally, I must mention, because these are my friends, it's a small SME, a small, medium, well, actually, it's just a small little company. That's in Basildon, a father and daughter, Alice, sorry. And they've been here for 20 years. They've built been involved in some of the most iconic buildings in the country. We're talking the Mary Seacole building. We're talking about Princess Diana's conservatory in Kew Gardens. We're talking about all of those things that go around Piccadilly Circus. You know, all the ticker tape? They've been involved in that. And they're building the Queen's building in London. They're renovating it. So it's a tiny SME, which is making a difference.
Okay, fantastic. And you know that after everything we've got lined up for Monday and Tuesday, you will need a break on Wednesday. So we've given you one. So there isn't anything going on Wednesday. But we are back on Thursday next week, Thursday the 11th, and it's engineering and sustainability. And on Thursday, we're starting at 2 till 3:30 p.m. So don't forget these times, because we're mentioning them because you need to be aware of these times and make sure you join us live on YouTube at those times. So at 2 o'clock, between 2 and 3:30 on Thursday next week, Apprenticeship Week will be focusing on engineering and sustainability. So Rani, do you want to tell us what will be happening on Thursday? Who is coming?
Okay, so obviously engineering, very big. People might have heard of STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, maths. Now we go for STEAM because we add arts in there as well. But the country is, up until last year, he was the government's ambassador and envoy for engineering, Stephen Metcalfe, MP for Basildon South and East Thurrock. Now, Stephen is coming to talk, not just like an MP and in the House, But he ran his country's,
On Thursday, Rani?
this is on Thursday, yes.
Okay, cool.
Thursday. He ran his family small engineering business, absolutely passionate about it, comes out and talks at big fairs, and he knows anything he doesn't know about engineering right on the back of a stamp. We're followed by three of our actually, we then go on to two people that are in industry. Polypipe is the country's biggest exporter and manufacturer of piping. So if you see anything to do with water sustainability, there it is. And their sustainability director is coming to talk about the proposals we have for making sustainable water. We've seen the floods here and across the world. We've seen the droughts here and across the world. Polypipe have solutions for these, and it's hugely exciting. After Phil will come Daniel Pillai. Now, Daniel is a dear old friend of mine. He happens to be Sri Lankan. I'm half Sri Lankan, but he's invented a film like this, just like sticky back plastic, good old days of Blue Peter. They're far too young to know this, Yetunde. And what this is that when we think about solar panels, we think about those horrible big boxes on the top of a roof, very heavy. If a bird flies over and does its business, it's stuck on there forever. If a stone comes, it crashes, you've had it. Well, Daniel is working on integrated solar. And what that means is it's a film that can go on the top of a bus. It can be built in down the side of a wall as well as on the top of a roof, and it generates energy. And that energy will power your own house, but it has the possibility through batteries to drive your electric car and to take it into a desert or into Alaska, because the sun shines in Alaska there. And that solar power is free and it will clean the world. So after Daniel, of course, we have to have somebody who knows what he's doing from the sector. Simon Lofting is South Essex College Marine Engineering. You know him, Yetunde. We met him on our flotilla day, didn't we? And he's going to talk about engineering in marine sea-going vessels.
Okay, fantastic. I'm all excited. I absolutely cannot wait. Absolutely amazing speakers we've got lined up for you. So you really don't want to miss next week. So much information. Right, and then on Friday, the last grand finale. We've saved the best till last. Okay, so Friday is all about finance, banking, insurance, environment. Why do I like Friday? Because it's all about money. And you know that we need money. Money makes the world go round. So it's not an enemy. But finance and banking and insurance are critical things that we need, especially in today's world. As we've done earlier on for Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I will now hand over to Rani to tell us all about the speakers coming in on Friday.
Right. Well, again, what we have are people who have done it. They've actually walked the talk. You're quite right. You know, we are coming out of this pandemic in the worst situation we've ever faced. Millions of people lost jobs. With a whole load of training having to be done, having to export. I think I just wanted to say one thing about money is that the Brits have always been known as a nation of shopkeepers. What we've got to be is a nation of sellers. We've got to be salespeople. We've got to take our products and get them out there into the world. We're not in the European market anymore. We can go anywhere. And we've invented things, Yetunde, from aeronautics. We've discovered all sorts of things like penicillin. You know, this isn't the first time that we've saved the world. And we go right down to the point of we actually invented the flushing toilet. That's something to be proud of. I am. I hate to think of the alternative. But John Barron is our MP here in Basildon. But before he entered into service for the country, he actually was a banker. He was a merchant banker, and he worked for Rothschilds. Now, Rothschilds is a name everybody should know because they're one of the richest families in the entire world. So he worked in finance, and he can talk from his experience on how to do it. We've got Peter King. No relation. I know that my name sometimes is King. That was the name that I used before I married my husband, which I got my MB for. So professionally, sometimes I'm known as King. Peter King is the gentleman who is in charge of Basildon Sports Centre Social Club down the road. But before he did, he was working in the third largest insurance company in the world. He was the director for the whole of Africa. And so he visited 40 countries in Africa, right across the world, set up his own insurance company. So this man is going to tell us, two young people, how to get really rich. So that's always good to know. But with all of these things, Yetunde, you know where my passion lies. It's about climate change. It's about teaching our next generation how to do things properly. And so we're bringing in Professor Clive Fraser. Now, Clive is extraordinary. He's a professor who lectures in economics in Leicester University, with the other hat on, of course. He also is a mentor and speaks for encouraging all sorts of young people, particularly Black young men, to go and be the best they can be. He also, though, is all about talking. And for me, it's about the green pound. Now, this is very, very important. It's called ESG. It means economic, environment, forgive me, environment, social, governance, ESG. It means that as the pound, any sort of currency has dropped in value, shareholders are looking to try and get a return on their money. But because of Black Lives Matters, because of the Sir David Attenborough telling us we've got to do something and quick, they want to invest in something that's going to save the world. So this is where we're talking. This is where it's coming from. People, ordinary people in the street saying, I want my money, I want my government to make sure that anything they spend money on is going to clean up the world. And so I'm hoping that this is a really good session, because every young person who thinks they want a career in banking or in insurance or in accountancy, who thinks it's boring, come along to this session, because I tell you what, you'll be getting your papers out to be getting into an apprenticeship ASAP.
Okay, fantastic. And what a week we've got lined up. You know that there's nothing you would rather be doing than finding out a lot more about these careers in the apprenticeship week through these wonderful, wonderful speakers that have come to support the Z generation in delivering apprenticeship week for 2021. We're in the pandemic, but it shouldn't stop us from doing what we need to do so that we can keep the world ticking. Now, one other thing we must cover is apprenticeship. What is an apprenticeship? Who is it for? And is it only for a certain age? Is it only for young people? I mean, I know about apprenticeship. I think I sold it in my book that, you know, not everybody is an academic. An apprenticeship just gives you, I believe, gives you that opportunity to still achieve, but not necessarily in the academic path. So Rani, tell us all about apprenticeship. What is all about? Why apprenticeships?
Well, apprenticeships give a chance for young people, and it's funny because there is a vague sort of oh, it's not as good as going to college. It's not as good as going to university. It's not good as getting your PhD. Apprenticeships can lead to all of these things. You go in to work, you have live access to whatever trade you want to do. One day you go into college, or you go in and you learn and consolidate what you've learned. You get supported, you get paid on an apprenticeship. And for me, I think the most, well, I keep on saying things that are exciting, but this, I think, is one of the best things ever. That as we know that we're going to look at maybe 2-3 million jobs lost in hospitality, in sports, in all the things that, you know, where are all these people going to go? Where are people who are maybe in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, even 60s that need a job? So from April this year, the government is now going to support apprenticeships. You can be 101, and if you want a job, I think you could go and get an apprenticeship. I mean, it's extraordinary. You will be supported and you will retrain. So I was watching something about apprenticeships when I thought this is what it's all about. And it was a young man, and he was working, delivering and things, parcels. I can't remember which company. And he had trained and spent a huge amount of money. He was an airline pilot. And he said, listen, you know what? If the planes aren't flying, if it's going to take a long time, to get us all back into hospitality, there's no shame in any job. Absolutely right. Keep your vision open, keep your minds open. So I'm hoping, and I'm trying to do my best, that this particular session will inspire people of every age. Get out there, retrain. We'll have Catherine, who's been my volunteer forever. Would you believe Catherine's going to be an apprentice? She's going to come to be, that was a surprise to you.
Yeah, fantastic.
She's going to be my generation apprentice. She's going to learn how to run it.
Fantastic. And that's the best place to be. Learning on the job is actually, by the time I discovered apprenticeships, I think it was a little bit too late. And by the time I wanted to do an apprenticeship, I was too old to do an apprenticeship, because they said it was for between the ages of 16 and 24, and there was an age limit and there was an age gap. But I'm so glad to hear that from April, the age limit is going to be removed. And it's a very good idea that it should be removed, because we do actually have some people that have been unemployed for a long period of time, and just because of their age they cannot go for an apprenticeship. But now that the barrier has been removed, that's absolutely fantastic, and we say thank you to the government for actually thinking and looking into apprenticeship and making it equal for absolutely all. So which is very good. Now, apprenticeship is one of the things that I know that for the BAME community, we don't really like apprenticeships. Why don't we like them? We don't like them because it's not the academic route. We all think, well, it's got to be, you get your GCSEs, you get your A levels, you go to university, you get your degree, you get your masters, now they're pushing it to PhDs. Can you imagine? So they think that if you do an apprenticeship, you won't have the luxury of that academic. Actually, you're wrong. With an apprenticeship, you will still get it, and you might just get it free of charge. So it's not a bad option. And I want to encourage people, because at the age of 40, I ended up working in the Ministry of Defense project. And I was working with a colleague of mine who was also 40, and we were born, I think in the same month, if I remember, 1 month apart from each other. I think I'm May, he's June. And he went down the apprenticeship route. So he wasn't all that academic. So he left school, I think at the age of 16, got an apprenticeship with Rolls-Royce. He grew up with them. They trained him up in engineering, went to uni, got his degree. The Rolls-Royce paid for it at the time. And years down the line, we end up in the same place. I went down the route of the academic route. So GCSEs, A-level, university, a job, then continue to, started working my way up and stuff like that. Years and years later, exactly the age 40, we were both 40, never met each other before. It wasn't one of those movies or or those try and error, and they put people on the spot and say, okay, like a trial, that okay, one person goes this way, one person, let's see where you end up in 20. No, it wasn't one of those. But he went down apprenticeship route. I went down the academic route. We both had a master's, and guess what? We were both earning the same amount of money. What am I trying to say? Doesn't really matter what route you take, so long as you've got your head in the game. I always tell young people, keep your head in the game and you will achieve. And that's what all apprenticeship is all about. So Rani, can you just give us the last word so that I don't have the last say on this invitation?
Well, I should just say as well about the apprenticeship for over 25-year-olds.
Yes.
They are picking up the ones who fell through the net, who will find it doubly difficult to find a job. So you must have not been educated further than A level. As long as you're under A level, right?
Okay.
Which for me, I think that's absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's a good start because we have to level every playing field. Okay, what do I think about the week? What do I think about apprentices? I think that we will have put together a program where people are going to be talking. They're not talking heads, they're going to be sharing their experiences. And so they are the ones whose footsteps we can follow, just as when I started this. Apprenticeship Week, very exciting. And it's building on everything you and I have ever done together, Yetunde, which is caring for our next generation. It's also caring for the same generation, because this is what it's about. We're all in this together. Yes, I think we have finally, through this very dark tunnel, we see a tiny light. But I just keep going. The reason this is about global, we've got everything in front of us. We can get out there, we train our next workforce, we produce the best products. We are the best. Hey, there used to be a campaign 1968, I'm backing Britain. Well, I'm backing a global Britain.
Great, global Britain, absolutely. Global Britain for the next generation. So you've heard it all. You know all about the speakers. You know all about the event. You know all about next week. And I know you are just as excited as I am. So don't forget to join us from Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And it's going to be so impactful. If your children are in loose ends at the moment, which I know a lot of kids are because of this coronavirus, please make sure you join in, because they might just hear something from someone that will help them tick the box of what is going to be happening to them next. So some people are like, so what next? So find out all about it in the Apprenticeship Week, and we look forward to seeing you on Monday. I say goodbye from me and from Rani.
It's goodbye from her.
Okay, we'll see you next week for the Apprenticeship Week of Basildon